Wow, AMC finally outperforms the market. Well, market today being really into a choppy session. Dow Jones down 250 points at the time and recovering because the CPI data came out, consumer price index about inflation. All right, and it marks that a lot of people in the market are still freaking out about inflation, but we're going to cover that in a separate video because we're going to see exactly how this impacts AMC and GameStop moving forward. But now I want to cover something really exclusive and it actually breaking, because I told you a couple of months ago that Citadel, whatever they are doing with AMC and GameStop, whatever the short sellers are manipulating stocks held by most of the retailers in the market, especially here in the US, are going to put them in a very bad spot. And the news I'm going to share with you just proved me right, because it just came out this morning that, Biden and some of the GOP members and the SEC are actually launching an inquiry into Citadel that targets parts of its business model. You can just look into some of the tweets here that people are sharing. Sources: GOP insiders say Biden, SEC, and Warren, the representative, have launched a political vendetta against Citadel. SEC has launched inquiry into Citadel that targets parts of its business model. Citadel founder Ken Griffin is one of the top donors to GOP candidates in recent years. As per Fox News, GOP insiders say Biden, SEC, Warren have launched a political vendetta against Citadel. The news goes on and on from all of different main news outlets. SEC launch inquiry, blah, 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 blah. You can see that the day has finally come. Is that the day that is now finally come where the flip on Citadel as a billionaire, providing most of the support through finances, through money, through donation, through the GOP side, is actually now turning their back on him because of what is happening here with the manipulation going on with Citadel? Guys, first of all, you have to keep in mind that retail being hurt by whatever Citadel is doing, first of all, with payment for order flow and the whole issue here with AMC and GameStop, it's not only something hurting apes. It's far bigger than just the apes being hurt and fighting against the hedge funds. It's bigger than that, because if you really think about it, guys, and I told this multiple times on my channel, most of the money held by retailers are not through individual stocks. It's through mutual funds, index funds, ETFs, 401ks, IRAs, 529s, etc., etc. And all of these guys in Washington, all right, the representatives, whatever net worth they might have, believe it or no, a big part of that net worth is also held into the assets I just expressed earlier. Meaning, whenever the payment for order flow is preventing our orders, the apes, the retailers, from going to the lead market and hitting the New York Stock Exchange, for example, to actually transpire the true supply and demand and put into effect into the real price, it's not only on AMC, it's across all of the retail orders. But retail orders are not only going to AMC and GameStop. And that's why I was predicting that at some point, someone in Washington, people in high places, are going to get pissed off because they don't see any change. And as a matter of fact, it's going to turn to a political vendetta per se. All right. And this is exactly what we're seeing today, because how come Citadel founder Ken Griffin is one of the top donors to the GOP candidates in recent years, and these same GOP insiders are now telling us that not only the president, not only the SEC, but Elizabeth Warren, it's actually launching a war to get Ken Griffin's head. Why do you think it's that? It's very rare that you turn your back on to, the actual sponsor of your campaign, because politics costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to actually launch a campaign, to get people, to see you, to go on television, on TV, on the radio, etc., etc. It costs a lot of money. That's why they most of the time rely and depend on the donor. So if one of the top donor is actually getting his ass chased by the same people he donated money for. I mean, definitely there is something he had to do to piss them off. So very interesting news to see. And we're going to see exactly how things unfold in the near future, because not only we have this news, but actually we also had this coming from the SEC on top of this news from the GOP insiders. The SEC is actually inquiring into Wall Street Bank's staff communications. Remember what happened a couple of weeks ago with the collusion between Citadel and Robinhood, and communication going around before the whole restrictions were put into the buy button on AMC and GameStop. So I don't think this is actually another coincidence coming up literally the same very day of this news breaking. Because, I mean, guys, it's not going to be something that might potentially have a major impact on the share price tomorrow or next week. But this is definitely a good, interesting move forward, because if things are now cracking down on Kenny's world, it means we're already getting close to that situation where they're actually forced to get out. I mean, the market is kind of frothy, inflation is higher, but this is definitely something we didn't see coming, but might be one of the catalysts.